Canto 6. So days drew on from the mournful day, the curse of silence no more lay on Doriath, though Daren's flute and Leithian's singing both were mute. The murmurs soft awake once more, about the woods, the waters roar, past the great gates of Thingol's halls, but no dancing step of Leithian falls on turf or leaf, for she forlorn, where stumbled once, where bruised and torn, with longing on him like a dream, had Beren sat by the shrouded stream. Escalduin the dark and strong, she sat and mourned in a low song. Endless roll the waters past, to this my love hath come at last. Enchanted waters pitiless, a heartache and a loneliness. The summer turns, in branches tall, she hears the pattering raindrops fall, the windy tide in leafy seas, the creaking of the countless trees, and longs unceasing and in vain to hear one calling once again the tender name that nightingales were called of old. Echo fails. Tinuville, Tinuville. The memory is like a knell, a faint and far-off tolling bell. Tinuville, Tinuville. O Mother Melian, tell to me some part of what thy dark eyes see. Tell of thy magic where his feet are wandering, what foes him meet. O Mother, tell me, lives he still, treading the desert and the hill? Do sun and moon above him shine? Do the rains fall on him, mother mine? Nay, Leithian my child, I fear. He lives indeed in bondage drear. The Lord of Wolves hath prisons dark, chains and enchantments cruel and stark. They're trapped and bound and languishing. Now Beren dreams that thou dost sing. Then I alone must go to him, and dare the dread in dungeons dim. For none there be that will him aid, in all the world, save elven maid, whose only skill were joy and song. And both have failed and left her long. Then naught said Melian thereto, though wild the words. She wept anew, and ran through the woods like hunted deer, with her hair streaming and eyes of fear. J.R.R she found with ferny crown, silently sitting on beech leaves brown. On the earth she cast her at his side. O J.R.R, J.R.R, my tears, she cried. Now pity for our old days' sake, make me a music for heart's ache, for heart's despair, and for heart's dread, for light gone dark and laughter dead, but for music dead there is no note. J.R.R answered, and at his throat his fingers clutched, yet his pipe he took, and sadly trembling the music shook. And all things stayed while that piping went, wailing in the hollows, and their intent. They listened, their business and mirth, their heart's gladness and the light of earth, forgotten, and bird voices failed, while Daren's flute in Doriath wailed. Leithian wept not for very pain, and when he ceased she spoke again. My friend, I have a need of friends, as he who a long dark journey wends, and fears the road, yet dare not turn, and look back where the candles burn. In windows he has left the night. In front, he doubts to find the light, that far beyond the hills he seeks. And thus of Melian's words she speaks, and of her doom and her desire, to climb the mountains, and the fire, and ruin of the northern realm, to dare, a maiden without helm, or sword, or strength of hardy limb, where magic founders and grows dim. His aid she sought to guide her forth, and find the pathways to the north, if he would not for love of her go by her side a wanderer. Wherefore, said he, should J.R.R go into direst peril earth doth know, for the sake of mortal who did steal his laughter and joy? No love I feel for Beren son of Barahir, nor weep for him in dungeons drear, who in this would have chains enow, heavy and dark. But thee, I vow, I will defend from perils fell, and deadly wandering into hell. No more they spake that day, and she perceived not his meaning. Sorrowfully she thanked him, and she left him there. A tree she climbed, till the bright air above the woods her dark hair blew, and straining afar her eyes could view the outline grey and faint and low of dizzy towers where the clouds go, the southern faces mounting sheer in rocky pinnacle and pier, of shadowy mountains pale and cold, and wide the lands before them rolled. But straightway J.R.R sought the king, and told him his daughter's pondering, and how her madness might her lead to ruin, unless the king gave heed. Thingol was wroth, and yet amazed. In wonder and half fear he gazed on J.R.R, and said, Truest thou been, now ever shall love be us between. While Doriath lasts, within this realm, thou art a prince of beech and elm. He sent for Leithian, and said, O maiden fair, what hath thee led to ponder madness and despair, to wander to ruin, and to fare from Doriath against my will, stealing like a wild thing men would kill, into the emptiness outside? The wisdom, father, she replied, nor would she promise to forget, nor would she vow for love or threat, her folly to forsake and meek, in Doriath her father's will to seek. This only vowed she, if go she must, that none but herself would she now trust. No folk of her father's would persuade to break his will or lend her aid. If go she must, she would go alone, and friendless dare the walls of stone. In angry love and half in fear, Thingol took counsel his most dear to guard and keep. He would not bind in caverns deep and intertwined sweet Leithian, his lovely maid, who robbed of air must wane and fade. Whoever must look upon the sky, and see the sun and moon go by, but close unto his mounded seat, and grassy throne there ran the feet of Hirilorn, the beechen queen. Upon her triple boles were seen no break or branch, until aloft, in a green glimmer, distant, soft, the mightiest vault of leaf and bough, from world's beginning until now, was flung above Escalduin's shores, and the long slopes to Thingol's doors. Grey was the rind of pillars tall, and silken smooth, and far and small. To squirrels' eyes were those who went at her grey feet upon the bent. Now Thingol made men in the beech, in that great tree, as far as reach, their longest ladders, there to build an airy house, and as he willed, a little dwelling of fair wood was made, and veiled in leaves it stood. Above the first branches, corners 3, it had and windows faint to see, and by 3 shafts of Hirilorn, in the corners standing was upborne. There Leithian was bidden dwell, until she was wiser and the spell of madness left her. Up she clomb the long ladders to her new home. Among the leaves, among the birds, she sang no song, she spoke no words. White glimmering in the tree she rose, and her little door they heard her close. The ladders were taken and no more, her feet might tread Escalduin's shore. Thither at whiles they climbed and brought all things she needed or besought. But death was his, whoso should dare a ladder leave, or creeping there, should set one by the tree at night. A guard was held from dusk to light about the grey feet of Hirilorn, and Leithian in prison and forlorn. There J.R.R grieving often stood, in sorrow for the captive of the wood, and melodies made upon his flute, leaning against a grey tree root. Leithian would from her windows stare, and see him far under piping there, and she forgave his betraying word, for the music and the grief she heard, and only J.R.R would she let across her threshold foot to set. Yet long the hours when she must sit, and see the sunbeams dance and flit in beechen leaves, or watch the stars peep on clear nights between the bars of beechen branches. And one night, just ere the changing of the light, a dream there came, from the west, maybe, or Melian's magic. She dreamed that she heard Beron's voice o'er hill and fell, Tinuvil call, Tinuvil, and her heart answered, let me be gone, to seek him no others think upon. She woke and saw the moonlight pale through the slim leaves. It trembled frail upon her arms, as these she spread, and there in longing bowed her head, and yearned for freedom and escape. Now Leithian doth her counsel shape, and Melian's daughter of deep lore knew many things, yea, magics more than then or now know elven maids, that glint and shimmer in the glades. She pondered long, while the moon sank and faded, and the starlight shrank, and the dawn opened. At last a smile on her face flickered. She mused a while, and watched the morning sunlight grow, then called to those that walked below. And when one climbed to her she prayed, that he would in the dark pools wade, of cold Escalduin, water clear, the clearest water cold and sheer, to draw for her, at middle night. She said, in bowl of silver white, it must be drawn and brought to me, with no word spoken, silently. Another she begged to bring her wine, in a jar of gold where flowers twine, and singing let him come to me, at high noon, singing merrily. Again she spake, now go, I pray, to Melian the queen, and say, thy daughter many a weary hour, slow passing watches in her bower, a spinning wheel she begs thee send. Then J.R.R she called, I prithee, friend, climb up and talk to Leithian, and sitting at her window then, she said, my J.R.R, thou'st craft, beside thy music, many a shaft, and many a tool of carven wood, to fashion with cunning, it were good, if thou wouldst make a little loom, to stand in the corner of my room, my idle fingers would spin and weave, a pattern of colors, of morn and eve, of sun and moon and changing light, amid the beech leaves waving bright. This J.R.R did and asked her then, O Leithian, what wilt thou weave? What wilt thou spin? A marvelous thread, and wind therein, a potent magic, and a spell. I will weave within my web that hell, nor all the powers of dread shall break. Then J.R.R wondered, but he spake no word to Thingol, though his heart feared the dark purpose of her art. And Leithian now was left alone, a magic song to men unknown. She sang, and singing then the wine, with water mingled 3 times 9, and as in golden jar they lay, she sang a song of growth and day, and as they lay in silver white, another song she sang, of night, and darkness without end, of height, uplifted to the stars, and flight, and freedom, and all names of things, tallest and longest on earth she sings, the locks of the long-beard dwarfs, the tail of Draugluin the werewolf pale, the body of Glorung the great drake, the vast upsoaring peaks that quake, above the fires in Angban's gloom, the chain Angana that ere doom, for Morgoth, the just Veiler wrought, of steel and torment, names she sought, and sang of Glend the sword of Nan, of Gillim the giant of Eruman, and last and longest named she then, the endless hair of Uinen, the lady of the sea, that lies through all the waters under skies. Then did she lave her head and sing, a theme of sleep and slumbering, profound and fathomless and dark, as Leithian's shadowy hair was dark. Each thread was more slender and more fine, than threads of twilight that entwine, in filmy web the fading grass, and closing flowers as day doth pass. Now long and longer grew her hair, and fell to her feet, and wandered there, like pools of shadow on the ground. Then Leithian in a slumber drowned, was laid upon her bed and slept, till morning through the windows crept, thinly and faint, and then she woke, and the room was filled as with a smoke, and with an evening mist, and deep, she lay thereunder drowsed in sleep. Behold, her hair from windows blew, in morning airs, and darkly grew, waving about the pillars grey, of Hirilorn at break of day. Then groping she found her little shears, and cut the hair about her ears, and close she cropped it to her head, enchanted tresses, thread by thread. Thereafter grew they slow once more, yet darker than their wont before, and now was her labour but begun. Long was she spinning, long she spun, and though with elvish skill she wrought, long was her weaving, if men sought to call her, crying from below. Nothing I need, she answered, go, I would keep my bed, and only sleep. I now desire, who waking weep. Then J.R.R feared, and in amaze, he called from under, but 3 days. She answered not. Of cloudy hair, she wove a web like misty air, of moonless night, and thereof made a robe as fluttering dark as shade. Beneath great trees, a magic dress, that all was drenched with drowsiness, enchanted with a mightier spell than Melian's raiment in that dell, wherein of yore did Thingol roam, beneath the dark and starry dome that hung above the dawning world. And now this robe she round her furled, and veiled her garments shimmering white, her mantle blue with jewels bright, like crystal stars, the lilies gold, were wrapped and hid, and down there rolled dim dreams and faint oblivious sleep, falling about her, to softly creep through all the air. Then swift she takes the threads unused, of these she makes a slender rope of twisted strands, yet long and stout, and with her hands she makes it fast unto the shaft of Hirilorn. Now, all her craft and labor ended, looks she forth from her little window facing north. Already the sunlight in the trees is drooping red, and dusk she sees come softly along the ground below. And now she murmurs soft and slow, now chanting clearer down she cast her long hair, till it reached at last from her window to the darkling ground. Men far beneath her heard the sound, but the slumberous strand now swung and swayed above her guards. Their talking stayed, they listened to her voice and fell suddenly beneath a binding spell. Now clad as in a cloud she hung, now down her roped hair she swung, as light as squirrel, and away, away she danced, and who could say what paths she took, whose elvish feet no impress made a dancing fleet.